Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the next episode of the Joe Kelley Show. It's your old pal Joe here, just checking in with you. How's it going? How's it hanging? Listen, I hope you're doing well out there. I hope all your wildest hopes and dreams are coming true, as they should be. I hope you had a great Cinco de Mayo. I hope you didn't do anything. I hope you sat home and reflected like a good white person should be doing. I imagine most people who are listening to this are of the cracker orientation. But you shouldn't have margaritas, don't have tacos. I don't know if you know that. But you should have sat home, maybe cried, maybe not ate anything at all for Cinco de Mayo. Really think about the harm you have caused those of Mexican heritage throughout your life. All the trauma you've caused them, all the hate you've spewed their way by enjoying the various forms of rice and meat that they put in different edible containers and call it different things. You shouldn't have enjoyed tequila. If anything, you should have enjoyed your white liquor, your white people liquor. What is that, moonshine? Maybe you got all moonshined up and cried a little bit on Cinco de Mayo. That would be fine. That would be acceptable. But you should not celebrate Mexican heritage in any way, shape, or form. I hope you didn't. I hope you aren't a bigot. I hope you're one of the good ones out there. I hope you stayed in line and no chips, no salsa. I know how much white people love queso, but you shouldn't be having that. That's appropriating culture, okay? The Mexicans like the melted cheese. It's not for white people. Maybe you went to Chipotle. If you went to Chipotle for Cinco de Mayo, I think that's okay. That's white people Mexican food. Perfectly acceptable to have. I don't think anybody could get mad at you about that. But as long as you made sure you cried, and as long as you made sure you paid twice what the burrito was worth. And I know the person behind the counter was probably a white person, but just make sure you double the money and said, hey, give the extra. I know this burrito is $13, but I'm going to give you $27. And I want you to give 14 of these dollars to a Mexican somewhere and tell them I'm sorry. For what, I'm not exactly sure. For the pain, the suffering I have caused them simply by existing in America and being a cracker. I didn't enjoy Cinco de Mayo. I'm just giving you this extra money to find a Mexican. I know you're going to have to travel many miles outside of a Chipotle because no Hispanic person will be caught dead in a Chipotle unless they're in the back making minimum wage, cutting up chicken, possibly portioning out pico de gallo, because that's how kitchens work. Okay, is that racist? No. Anybody who thinks that's racist has never spent any time cooking in a kitchen. Because while the whites are out front, the Hispanics are in the back. It is like a bus ride in the 60s. I'll tell you that much right now. Any kitchen you've ever been to, it's a bus ride in the 60s, and Chipotle is no different. But the point is, if you celebrated Cinco de Mayo, if you had some fun, if you said, arriba, and you drank a margarita, frozen or not frozen, that liquid stuff, the ones that go down quicker, you're a terrible person, and you should really take a good hard look in the mirror and say, am I a racist bigot for enjoying tacos and celebrating a day that isn't mine? Did I hang a piñata in the backyard and smash it and have little airplane bottles of Jose Cuervo fall out of them? If you did, shame on you. Shame on you and everybody who participated in that sham of a celebration, because you're not supposed to be doing those things. 4 years ago, you could, or not even 4 years ago. Last year, it was fine. Last year, it was okay to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but not this year, okay? Because we have Nazis running the country, and it's your fault. And it's your fault. So no more Cinco de Mayo, if you were thinking about eating chicken on Juneteenth, that's out the window too, okay? None of that. You still can have hot dogs on the 4th of July because there's nothing more bigotry. What do you think hot dogs are made out of? Everyone's like, oh, no, it's mystery meat. You know what it is ground up bigotry stuffed in a case of a Nazi sock. That's all hot dogs are. You can still get that one, but as long as you're Sieg Heiling and waving a Nazi flag while you eat those hot dogs, it's okay. Don't try to be a good person and enjoy yourself and light off fireworks, okay? You got to let everybody know you're a terrible person. And that's why you're eating a hot dog on the 4th of July. I'm just looking out for you, okay? If you secretly celebrated Cinco de Mayo by yourself in your one-bedroom apartment, maybe with your family, don't go telling anybody, all right? Don't post it on social media. Don't put it in your Instagram stories because you're going to get a lot of backlash nowadays. You can't enjoy tacos now without catching a lot of flack, or especially on Cinco de Mayo. Quit appropriating culture unless you do it quietly and keep it to yourself. All right? Just a little tip to get you started on the podcast this week, okay? I hope, wink, wink, you didn't celebrate Cinco de Mayo, okay? Because you're a bad person if you did. That makes you bad. And we're good people. We want to be good. We eat bologna and white bread with American cheese because we don't want to step on anybody's toes by enjoying different cuisines, you know? Whenever the Chinese New Year is, don't be eating no Chinese food, okay? They always seem to forget about that one. But anyway, Cinco de Mayo, we didn't celebrate it because we're good people. We're on the right side of history, and we don't believe that we should be eating tacos because of is it melatonin in the skin or the lack of melatonin? Whatever it is. You old pale skin motherfucker, don't be eating no tacos, okay? Cinco de Sixo, go for it. Have fun. Go back to eating tacos. Put on a sombrero and do it. Shake some maracas when you walk up to the food truck. But as long as you're not doing it on the Cinco de Mayo, that's hatred, okay? That's what I heard, and I'm just relaying the message to you guys at this point in time. You want to be viewed as a good person. So if you eat tacos 364 days out of the year, that's fine. Just don't do it on the 5th of May. And pretend you're celebrating a fucking holiday that you have no business celebrating, okay? What's it even mean, the Cinco de Mayo? Why do they do it? Is it the independence of Mexico? Excuse me. That was a sneeze. Probably because of all the margaritas. There's a margarita sneeze coming to you live on the podcast this week. What have you been up to, friends? How's everything been? Listen, we got to talk about autism too. It's been in the news. It's always in the news. Apparently, it's a great thing to have now. Now that someone is concerned with putting in possibly an end to autism, all of a sudden it's the greatest thing ever. Did you guys, RFK came out and he was talking about autism as he's been doing forever. And he mentioned that autistic people might have a hard life and, you know, some of them will never have a family or pay taxes. And apparently that's not true. Apparently having autism is the greatest thing you could possibly have because people got up in arms and all of a sudden, you know, people with autism are published authors and have the best families and nothing's wrong with it. But if it's not a problem, why the fuck has every grocery store been asking me for $1 for it for the past decade and a half? If autism is so great and there's no issues with it at all, how come everyone keeps wanting me to give them money for something that isn't a problem? How come autistic people have been paying the most taxes and for some reason still want my dollar every time I go to Kroger? Could someone explain that to me, please? I'm very Is autism just, have they been swindling me this whole time? Are they that fucking smart that they've been running money laundering schemes through Kroger and not paying taxes on the dollar I give them, but paying the most taxes on their own money they make? Because apparently autism is the best thing you could possibly have, and there's nothing wrong with anybody who has it. That's just, again, what I've been hearing. Because somebody is going, hey, autism wasn't a thing, and now it seems like everybody has it, and it seems to be causing some people some problems. And then people are like, whoa, wait a minute. I got an autistic kid, and he's got a big old dick and a great family, and he's never had any problem. He's a millionaire. He's an astronaut and an author, and he writes code. He also writes code for apps for your phone. But it's like, okay, maybe not him, maybe everybody else who has autism, you know? Because I went to school, elementary school. We just used to call everything retarded back then. There wasn't all these different forms of mental issues, you know? You were just retarded. That's all it was. You were retarded or Egyptian. It was one of the two. Because we had this kid in our school from Egypt, and they put him in special ed because they didn't know what to do with him, because he was just from Egypt, I think. He also had very long fingernails and would scratch me. So maybe he was kind of retarded. I don't know. He also used to pick on me. You ever been picked on by a retarded guy? You can't do anything to defend yourself, you know? If you're in high school and some jock motherfucker, some bully, is picking on you, giving you wedgies, you know, you can crack him in the head with a book. You can go, you know, in an extreme case, you could Columbine him. You know what I mean? But you can't, if you're getting picked on by a retarded kid, you can't do nothing. You know what I mean? I was between a rock and a hard place there. Because I just got to keep letting this retarded kid scratch me. Because if you do anything, they go, Joe, are you beating up a retarded kid? It's like, yeah, he was scratching me, though. And I think he's just Egyptian anyway, who's just pretending because he can get away with it and the work's easier. That's just my opinion. I did get my payback in flag football one day. I do remember that. They gave him the ball, and I hit him as hard as, because they let us tackle. That's how good the flag football coaches were where I grew up, in elementary school and middle school. They go, fuck it, just tackle each other with no pads. Who gives a shit? Just smash into each other. It's totally fine. And I did. After 3 years of getting scratched by some Egyptian kid, I hit him as hard as I possibly could. And he came to school the next day with crutches. His dad was a doctor. I think he was just pretending. Just to get, you know, if his assignments weren't easy enough, they were like, you don't even have to do them today. You don't even have to write your ABCs, even though you're 12 years old. You should already know them. We've been doing them every day for 4 years. But anyway, that's not the point. What was the point of talking about that? It just used to be, autism's not great. There was a kid who would draw with his poop in the bathroom, on the bathroom walls too. Now, I don't know if that's retarded or autistic, but he would do that in the single stall bathrooms, you know? Because in the classrooms, they used to have one bathroom, and you go in there and you flip a stop sign. It had red for stop, meaning someone was in there, and green for go. And it was red for a long time one day, and I went in there afterwards, and there was just drawings with poop all over the wall. And we figured out it was Steven pretty quick. You know, one sniff of his fingernails, and we figured out the culprit. It wasn't a difficult, you know, it wasn't a half-hour Scooby-Doo case to crack. I don't even think the teacher really had to do too much hunting to figure it out. I think it was like, hey, there's poop on the walls. I think she was like, I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I think it's that autistic kid. But back then it wasn't that. And then the next day he wasn't in our class. They put him with the Egyptian kid after that. Anyway, autism's great. They pay all the taxes and invent all the things, and nothing's wrong with it. And we should just keep doing the same things that we're doing exactly how we're doing them right now and change absolutely nothing about our culture or society, because we're breeding nothing but great, beautiful, smart, healthy people. And our children are the brightest and have no issues at all. They're not socially awkward. They're not fucking, they're not weird as shit. They're great. And because autism is so good, it gets you in trouble. I'm pretty sure I talked about the story where I was at the YMCA one day playing basketball, and there was an autistic kid. I think he was autistic. Again, I don't know what everybody is nowadays, but I assumed, because of what everybody says about how great autism is, that he was going to be the best basketball player ever. And his ball came bouncing it towards me, and I was like, I'll just throw it back to him. He's probably the best, he's Steph Curry in disguise at this point. And I threw the ball back at him and hit him straight in the fucking face. I hit an autistic kid in the face with a basketball, people. And I was trying to be nice. It's not like I did it on purpose. It's not like he was the one scratching me in third grade. I turned a new leaf at this point. I was trying to be a good and I don't want to treat him different. I didn't want to roll it to him and be disrespectful, which is what I probably should have done and would have done had I not been manipulated by social media to think everybody with autism is a super athlete and a super genius. You got to be honest about this shit, or you're going to be getting fucking hitting kids in the face with basketballs all the goddamn time. Because some lady's on Twitter yelling about how her autistic son is an author and pays more taxes than anybody. I assume they're going to be great athletes. I should have just rolled in the ball. I should have just walked it over and handed it to him. But I didn't want to get any poop on my hands, So I threw it to him. Anyway, autism's great. Don't celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Those are my big two topics for the day. Here's the other thing. I've been working a job lately, people. I had to pick up a job where my work from home has been slow. And so I got a job, but I quit. My last day was Sunday. I had to quit, which is story of my life at this point in time. Get a fucking job and it's working out okay. And then say, I just can't fucking deal with it. I can't deal with work. I can't deal with people. That was the big thing. I was like, maybe I should go be around people for a little while. That was a big part of getting the job. I was like, I think I need to spend some time with people. I spend an awful lot of time alone nowadays, working, doing this, doing that. I was like, let me go spend time around people. And I realized I don't like being around people. Is that autism too? Is that the good kind or the bad kind? It might be the bad kind if I keep quitting these fucking jobs, but it's just, I can't do it. I can't deal with these fucking office conversations that people have, or just these at work conversations that people have. They say things that means absolutely nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. You ask somebody how they are. You guys probably know, you work jobs. Maybe you've said this yourself. You go, how are you? They go, oh, still breathing. It's like, if I hear somebody tell me they're still breathing, one more, what are you, making fun of George Floyd? You ignorant motherfucker. Come on now. We're better than that, first and foremost. We're better than that. Second of all, it means nothing. You hear every day, how's it going? Still breathing. Who gives a fuck? You're not going to be for much longer if I hear you say that one more time. Have a genuine, tell me how you're doing. Just tell me. Are you good or are you bad? Just be a real human being for a moment and give me an honest answer. My last day, it's 7 a.m. and some guy comes up to me and goes, hey, have I told you my pussy joke yet? And it's, I don't want to hear your pussy. Yes, you did. You told it to me 4 times already. It wasn't funny then. It's not going to be funny now. It's some fucking joke book pussy joke thing. How did it even go? What is a pussy and a mobster have in common? one slip of the tongue and you're in some deep shit. Oh, and it's 7 a.m. I just don't need to hear that shit. Just the insincere nonsense that people have to say to each other to pretend that they're happy. What's it? Another day in how is it going? Another day in paradise. And nobody ever means that. Just say you hate your life and you hate everything about yourself. I'd rather hear you say that than some bullshit, another day in paradise. Nobody thinks that. People who think that, people who live on islands, and even they don't think that all the time. They get hit with fucking hurricanes and shit. Their wife fucks the pool boy. It's not always another day in paradise. Still living the dream. Living the dream. No, you're not. No, you're not. Quit pretending. Quit lying. Just say something that's real. I just can't deal with that shit. Not that I do it, but you understand. You understand why people go into an office building and just kill everybody they've ever known. You know what I mean? Because they've never had a genuine interaction with somebody. And they probably have tried, but it's so superficial and it's so surface that it's like, I can't deal with this bullshit. Why did I even do this to myself to begin with? So I don't work there anymore. I don't have to worry about it. But these nonsense fucking phrases that people say, I don't know how you guys do it. I know some of you out there got real jobs and you work with these types of people. Maybe you've even said this bullshit yourself. I don't know how you do it. I commend you for it. But I honestly have no idea how you could do that every day. It's absolutely crazy. Granted, there was like 150 people on the shift, so it was tough to have genuine interactions with people and develop real relationships or whatever. But it only takes 5 minutes. It only takes 5 minutes to have a genuine conversation and be a real person. And so I'm living the dream. Have you heard my pussy joke yet? So no, I haven't. And I don't want to. But I already have. You told me 4 fucking times. You told me it yesterday. God damn, man. It's just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't hack it. I couldn't deal with working around people. And I tried. And I fucking tried. What can you do? Again, hats off to you guys for the ones who can fucking just bury it down somehow. Just bury everything you've ever thought and felt. And just bury it down and put your head down and just keep trudging through another day at the office, another day through corporate America. Especially when you're on the bottom. Because that's where I was. I was new into the job or whatever. So it's just like you're just in the fucking... No one even cares what you do. No one cares. They have other people who are supposed to care, but they don't care. The higher ups. There's just so many levels. Then you got to deal with middle management people who the only reason they're there is because they've been around. You know what I mean? They actually have no leadership or management skills. They could just... They were the ones that could deal with the people say, I'm just living the dream. Another day in paradise. And not freak the fuck out. So like, hey, you haven't killed yourself or somebody else here. Do you want to make $2 more an hour? Not even. It's $2 more an hour on paper, but your salary. So we're going to keep you around an extra hour. I can't do it. I just can't fucking do it. And it seemed like a fun gag. It is. I just talk about it now. I got no fucking skin in the game. I was dealing cards, people. That's what I was doing. I was a card dealer for a little bit. But it wasn't like they were real casino, but it was that online shit, right? It's a very dystopian world to live in because you just walk in and it's just a bunch of card tables, blackjack, baccarat, roulette. But there's the people there you never see. They're all on the internet playing. They're all at home drunk at 8 a.m. or coked up from the night before, just pissing away money, hoping for the best. That's all it was. That's all it was. And with, doing comedy, I can fucking entertain some people sitting at home being drunk on the internet. Shit, I've been doing it for a decade. I was like, I'll be fucking good at this. And I love cards. But everything else, it's just a sad, sad thing. And then you watch people there with no hope who can't even read. There's a lot of people who can't read. Adults who can't read. They don't know how to pronounce people's names. People couldn't read the name Shelby. That was too hard for them. That's sad. And those are my coworkers. Those were the people I was on par with. You know what I mean? It's fucking insane. Absolutely insane. But it's a sign of the times, People don't go out. They just sit at home. I'm sure some people are on disability, but it's a lot of addicts. It's a lot of addicts just looking for a thrill. And just some corporation just taking their money and being fine with it. And that's living the dream, baby. That's living the dream. Watching somebody spend their Social Security check on a hope and a prayer. That's living the dream. And then fucking, when they piss it away on one hand of blackjack, they take to the streets and yell about Elon Musk taking it away from them. You know what I mean? That's where we're at. That's where we're at as a society and a culture. People go, oh, Elon Musk better not touch that Social Security. Donald Trump's a bad man. Let me piss it away. I can double down on a 12 when I shouldn't be doing that. I couldn't take it anymore. I gave it a shot. But that's why the podcast has been a little back and forth, but we're going to be more consistent with it now. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about too much lately. Moving back to Flint has been interesting, to say the least. But I feel like we're finding ourselves again. I haven't smoked weed since January. Since January, people. That's the last time I got high. Getting high was an identity for me for the longest time. And I just haven't. I just decided not to. I went ice fishing with my cousins back in January. And that was the last time I smoked weed. I just stopped. It's an easy way to quit smoking cigarettes, too. I realized they had a relationship with one another. So I just stopped. Do I feel better about it? Does it sound like I feel better? I don't know. I feel like it fucked everything up. It's like, I'll quit smoking weed and I'll go get a job. That didn't work out, did it? Absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. But it was just seeming like a bad habit at some point in time, And there's weed's not so bad for you. It doesn't affect you, this, that, and the other. It's like, well, it is, it's altering. And if you guys get high, do whatever you want. But you do have to understand, you can only bullshit yourself so much. It does alter your mind to a degree. Be like, oh, it's not as bad as booze. It's not as bad as heroin. Well, it's like, yeah, when you compare things to the worst, of course it's not as bad. That's why alcoholics hang out with someone who's always a worse alcoholic. They go, yeah, I'm fucking drunk all the time, but yeah, I'm not fucking Frank. I'm not Frank. Frank is a madman. He gets drunk and he beats his dog and he shits on the porch. I'm not that bad. I'm drunk all the goddamn time. Sure, but I'm not as bad as my best friend who I hang out with and drink all the time so I can feel better about how drunk I am. That's what people do. So it was just a bad habit. It's just a bad habit at some point. I wasn't getting anything out of it. It was making me more anxious than anything else. So I just stopped. Just cold turkey. Quit drinking for a long time too. My sister's 40th birthday was last month, so I had some with her, but I've just kind of been taking it easy. But that ice fishing trip was like, I'm just going to quit everything after this, take a break, and, still haven't smoked weed since then. Might do it at some point in time, might not. I really don't know. I don't know. Part of me kind of wants to. I'd like to get high again. It's fun. It's a nice way to unwind, but Lord knows I'll just make it a habit again and fucking 11 a.m., let's roll one up. 1 p.m., let's roll one up. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym. Let's roll one up before. Oh, I'm done with the gym. Let's roll up another one. And it just becomes a habit. A bad habit at that. Especially with me, because I'd be smoking spliffs. Put a little tobacco in there. Then you start putting more tobacco in there. Before you know it, you're basically smoking. All of a sudden the weed to tobacco ratio flip-flops, and you're basically smoking an unfiltered cigarette with just a little weed sprinkled in there. At least with me. At least that's what I was doing. So I had to stop. And I wanted to stop. So that's where I'm at, people. Don't let your vices control you, and don't let them fucking, make them, don't bullshit yourself into thinking that something's helping you or good for you when it might not be. Take a break from it all. Don't bullshit yourself. You bullshit everybody else, but you know the truth at the end of the day. And in getting away from people, that's the other thing, is like, not smoking and drinking was like, let me take a step back from doing shows and everything too. Stand up for a minute and go, I got to take away, because I know if I go, especially now, coming back to Michigan or whatever, I know some comics, but if I just go to a random show, there's a good chance I don't know a lot of people there. So it's like, I'll just go fucking sit over here and drink a little bit. So I got to take a step back from that too. It's all whatever. Hey, did y'all see this lady? What's the appropriate, have you ever had road rage, people? You out there freaking out in the car? You trying to cause people harm? You destroying lives out there? This lady, did y'all see this lady from Pennsylvania? Probably the best road rage expression I've ever seen. If you haven't seen, this lady shits on a car. Now I know what you're thinking. How did she do that? Well, let's watch. I like how they have like a fucking headshot. How quick she does that is absolutely insane. I've also noticed something about this. People who shit on things or try to shit on somebody, they never wipe. Have you noticed that? You ever see like a homeless person just squatting against a fucking brick wall and just dropping a shit? They never wipe. It's like, you're going to shit on somebody's car and then get back in your car with a shitty ass? And clearly that's wet. You're just going to grind your own poop into your seat? Now, I know I'm trying to speak logically about this whole situation, which probably isn't a good idea. It's not going to make any sense. Anybody who's willing to shit on a car ain't all there. And I also say this is nothing new, okay? If you guys remember CKY4 of the great CKY video series, Rab himself shit on a glass window in Times Square, okay? But that was like 2000, 2001, maybe 2002. That's back when shitting on stuff was cool. Now it's not cool anymore. Now we've gotten beyond that. Back then it was the coolest thing ever. But now it's not so cool. But this lady looks exactly how you think she would look too. Big fat lady. Funny enough, she is also from Pennsylvania, just like Rab himself. I like how the response is, you're a fucking slut. As if shitting on a car makes you a slut? Wait a minute. We got different, that's like, this is getting down back to the whole autism retarded thing. They're different things, I guess. I don't know how that relates to it. Anyway, back to the video. She's so proud of herself, too.
Can you tell us what happened?
The lady chased me. She chased me and I asked her not to attack me.
She chased you?
I have a sickness.
Yeah, it's diarrhea.
She chased you?
Yeah, she chased me. And I got out and begged her to stop.
Listen to her side.
You got nothing better to do than listen to her side of the story? It's a great reaction. I mean, listen, if the goal is to get somebody to stop chasing you, shitting on their car is just absolutely incredible. You're a fucking slut. Look at how unstable this woman is. This is your neighbor, too. This is the lady down the road. This is your next door neighbor. This is probably one of your coworkers that either didn't have her meds, doubled up, or just had enough. Maybe somebody was like, oh, I'm living the dream. She's like, oh, are you really living the dream? How about now? I'm shitting on your Corolla at 10 in the morning because you were scaring me. It's a perfectly natural reaction. But this lady does look like exactly what you'd think a lady who would shit on a car would. With her fucking Beetlejuice-looking sundress on.
Can you tell us what happened?
The lady chased me. She chased me and I asked her that's what's happening.
Which is probably why that shit came out so fiery.
She chased you? I have a sickness.
The I have a sickness is the funniest part. Because it's like, yeah, you do. What do you got? What's the thing where you can't shit good? Crohn's disease or whatever it is. You're mentally ill. And then you get arrested. Now you're in jail with a shitty ass. I wonder if they wiped her ass off before they put her in the police cruiser. Imagine having to fucking take this lady downtown and frisk her. And you get poop in your fingers. Then you write your name on the bathroom wall and then you get sent to special ed. It's all connected, people. There's a through line to this podcast somehow, some way, some shape, some form. But my God, this is where we're at. This is normal. This is normal American behavior at this point in time, you know? This is your average American. I know you and I aren't doing that sort of thing, but I think we'd like to. I think, I wish I had it in me, you know? People irritate me in traffic. I wish I had it in me. But I'm too much of a coward to shit on somebody's car. I wish I was that brave. I really do. I wish I was brave enough and just had it in me and that dedicated, you know? I wish I was that angry. I wish I was that angry about anything. But I'm not. I'm not. I wish I had that much passion in my body to go, you cross the line with me, I'm going to shit on your car. And then be happy about it and not feel any sort of remorse or shame to smile at a camera and to tell the news reporter I was in the right. They were chasing me and I was scared. And I only had one option. And that was to lift up my fucking Beetlejuice sundress and fire out just a stream of light brown shit. Not healthy. Not a healthy shit. Also, how do you know? I think some people have superpowers with their shit. Because how do you know you're not going to be there for, 15, 20 minutes pinching out a nice ripe turd? How'd you know it was just going to go real quick, I'm done? And how do you know there's not more? How do you have the appropriate amount of shit to just do it real quick, go, I proved my point, now I gotta go get my Chick-fil-A. Go get, before it gets cold because I ordered it beforehand and I know it's going to cool on that rack a little bit longer than I like to expect. And I'd like my chicken sandwich to be warm still. How do you know? It's impressive, really. I know people are trying to trash this lady and be like, oh, she's all fucked up. And she is fucked up, but still impressive. It's impressive that she had just the right amount of shit. It's like you're baking the perfect cake, And you need 3 eggs and you're not sure. You can't remember the exact last time you bought eggs and you go, did I have an omelet this week? No, that was last week. How many eggs do I have? And you open that carton and there's 3 fucking eggs in there, the perfect amount. And you're like, this is going to be the best cake ever. That's what that lady did, but just with her shit. That's where we're at, people. That's America. If that ain't America, I don't know what is. God bless it. God bless this country. God bless you. And listen, I hope we had some fun. I love you. Take care of yourself, all right? I'll catch you next week. Later.